You can't catch me, rabbit. Ha ha, you can't catch me. Come back down to Earth, Pixie. No way, this is cool. So high off the ground. Feels like I'm on the moon. Come on up, rabbit, come on. We're so high up. Did you see the moon last night? I saw it, and it looks kind of like this rock with all these holes. Maybe the moon is a rock. Are there rocks on the moon?
Maybe.
I'd love to go to the moon and explore it.
Oh,
What's it like up there? Could somebody live there? How could I go there? I wonder. I know. Let's see if Magic Wall can tell us. Hello, Magic Wall.
Hello guys, what's up?
We were thinking about the moon and have some questions about it.
Shoot.
Well, what is it like on the moon?
Well, for starters, it is very quiet and still. There is no sound or movement.
Why?
There are no people living there, and there is no air or weather like we have here on Earth.
And what does it look like up there?
The surface of the moon is made of rock and has a fine layer of dust on it. The surface is also dented with craters.
Craters? How did they get there if there are no people or anything moving?
The craters were made by meteors. Unlike the Earth, the moon does not have a protective atmosphere surrounding it. Meteors that collide with the moon create these big holes.
Whoa! What an explosion!
Indeed, and the dust from the shattered rock covered the moon.
Looks like the moon is much smaller than the Earth.
It is. The moon has a diameter of 3,476 kilometers.
And how about the Earth?
The Earth's diameter is 40,075 kilometers.
Ah, pretty huge. How far is it to the moon?
It is more than 384,000 kilometers away from the Earth. This is a distance of 30 Earths away.
Wow! How long would it take to get there?
Well, that depends on how fast you travel. The journey can take a few days or even less than 1 day. The fastest mission to the moon, NASA's New Horizons Pluto mission, got there in just 8 hours. In 1969, it took Neil Armstrong 4 days to get to the moon in a rocket. He was the first man to walk on the moon.
Whoa! Someone already went to the moon?
Yes, some space missions have explored outer space, but the Apollo 11 mission in 1969 flew to and landed on the moon.
How was the space mission?
It was very exciting. When the spaceship got there, Armstrong reported back to Earth and said, "The Eagle has landed."
Why Eagle?
The rocket was called the Eagle.
Oh, cool. What was the rocket like?
It had different parts. It was 110.6 meters tall and had 3 stages or compartments, as well as a lunar module called the Eagle, a service module, and a command module called the Columbia. The astronauts stayed in the command module. Here they had radio contact with people on Earth. When they got to their destination, they used a lunar module which became detached from the mothership, and in it they landed on the moon.
Did Neil Armstrong go on his own?
No, the mission had 3 members, Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, and the command module pilot Michael Collins. They flew from Cape Kennedy in the US, Florida.
Why is there so much smoke and fire?
Because there are so many engines powering the rocket. The first stage had 5 engines. After these ignited, the rocket rose. 3 minutes later, the engines of the second and third stages were lit.
Whoa!
Yes, they needed tremendous power to go on the journey. After just a few minutes, the spacecraft was already 15,000 kilometers away from Earth.
Ah, that is crazy. Such an adventure. So, what happened when it landed on the moon?
The team on board the space shuttle checked all the equipment and systems in the lunar module. Some hours later, they put on the space suits with oxygen equipment. Then Armstrong came out of the spaceship and set foot on the moon. He was shortly followed by his colleague Buzz Aldrin.
Ah, looks so cool. I want to be an astronaut. Would I have to wear one of those big crazy suits?
Yes, you would. The environment on the moon is very different to the Earth, so astronauts need these clothes for protection.
How is it different?
The first thing is the temperature. The temperature on the moon swings from 120 degrees Celsius by day to minus 150 degrees Celsius by night. There's also no air on the moon, so the spacesuits are equipped with oxygen so the astronauts can breathe.
Very important.
Of course, the spacesuits were also intended to withstand strikes by tiny meteorites.
Ouch. And what did the astronauts do on the moon?
They wanted to learn as much as possible, so they walked around and did some tests, took photographs and collected moon dust and moon rock and other information.
Moon rock and moon dust? Amazing.
This is the first footprint on the moon.
Cool. From Neil Armstrong.
Yes, when he set foot on the moon, he said that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Cool. And what other information did they get?
They recorded details about the air and the temperature, and they searched for water and life around the moon.
Did they find anything? Is there life on the moon?
Yes, they met some little aliens who helped them with their work.
No way!
No, I'm kidding. They found no life on the moon.
Too bad.
One astronaut, Michael Collin, also remained in the space capsule and studied it out of orbit.
Oh, poor him. He didn't get to walk on the moon. Why is he floating in the rocket?
That's because the gravity in space and on the moon is not as strong as on Earth. Before they left for their trip, the astronauts had to learn how to move in an atmosphere without gravity.
Oh, what's that like? Like this?
It would feel like floating around all the time. On the spaceship, for example, the team had to sleep in sleeping bags that were attached to the wall. They couldn't lie in bed because they would float away.
Weird. Looks kind of fun though.
It might look like fun, but I'm sure the space explorers grew tired of it. They were on the spaceship for about 8 days, and in that time they ate and drank through straws. They couldn't use plates, knives and forks because the food would float away.
Hey Rabbit, that looks cool. Ew. Blech. But if no one ever went to the moon, how did they know that there was no air and no gravity?
Scientists have studied the moon for hundreds of years and sent probes into space to collect information. In the middle of the last century, the first lunar probe got sent into outer space. They collected very important details about the moon.
Oh, what was the lunar probe?
It was a machine that was sent to the moon on a rocket to collect data. This data is used to figure out the atmosphere on the moon. NASA has been working on this since 1958.
Who's NASA?
It's the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. They are based in Houston, Texas.
Oh, and do you think NASA would ever send a PIXI into space?
Yes, PIXI, they absolutely would.
Cool! Space PIXI!
However, the funding for moon landing missions was stopped in 1972, so it could be quite some time before they send people up again.
Seems like people have always been interested in space and the moon, have they?
Yes, they have. In 1609, Galileo Galilei first saw the moon with a telescope. He studied the moon from Earth and made very precise descriptions of it.
I want to be like Galileo and discover something. Nice moves, Rabbit. Another question for you, Magic Wall. Why does the moon change shape? Like sometimes it is a big circle and sometimes only a half moon.
This depends on the moon's phases. The moon orbits around the Earth and it takes 27 days to complete one full circle. During this time, the sun shines onto the moon, making it look bright. It is the Earth's shadow on the moon that gives it different shapes.
Oh!
We refer to these different views of the moon as moon phases.
Tonight, when the moon is up, I'm going to study it with my telescope. Hey, did the astronauts ever come back to Earth, or are they still up there?
They came back, After their time on the moon, Aldrin and Armstrong rejoined Collins in the mothership, and 3 days later they landed safely back on Earth. After their return, they had to stay in a quarantine station. From here they could only greet their friends and family through a window. After they left the station, the aircraft carrier Hornet brought them home.
Ah, they're like heroes coming back from the space mission. There's so much to learn about it. Thanks for all the information, Magic Wall. Now I want to go to practice my moonwalk for when NASA send me into space.
Okay, Pixie, have fun. Bye.
See ya! Okay, Rabbit, let's play Moonlanding. The Eagle has landed. Let's get some moon rock and dust to bring back to Earth.
Oh! Hey, are you crazy?
What? They're meteorites. Oh no, come back, Rabbit. I can't complete the space mission alone. Oh no. What else is going on up here? I wonder. Uh-oh. Houston, we have a problem. Abort mission! Abort mission! Ah!